Round one. DJ Dance versus the obstacles of life. Fight!
Time right. It's almost time, baby. You ready?
I'm so ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Now, make sure y'all hitting the thumbs up. Make sure y'all comment and let us know where y'all tuning in from. The show Get 'Em to the Metaverse is about to start. Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Come on, make some noise. Put some fire emojis in the comment section. It's about to be insane. It's about to be insane. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let's go. Yeah, y'all know what time it's called. Get 'em to the Metaverse. You gotta get 'em to the Metaverse. That's joy. That's joy.
Hey y'all,
right
hey
here.
y'all.
It's me right here.
Right
It's called Get 'Em to the Metaverse. You gotta get 'em to the Metaverse. Let's go.
Woo!
Hey, you know what, man? I'm feeling so wavy right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel so good. But let's make sure we cool with Joy Rain. How you doing, Joy Rain?
I am doing amazing. Hey everybody, and welcome to Get 'Em to the Metaverse. We are so excited that you all decided to tune in and hang with us today. We have amazing guests, as you already know, and we are so excited to talk to them. But first, how are you doing, Jay Dunn?
I'm feeling real good. Yeah, I'm feeling real good. Yeah, because we about to have an awesome show now. Yeah, we about to have an awesome show now. Look, man, y'all know how we get down, man. The intro to Get 'Em to the Metaverse always got to be lit because it's always a party in the Metaverse and it never stops. You know what I'm saying? But first of all, let's make sure we say this. Welcome to Get 'Em to the Metaverse, where our mission is to help you and help others make the extraordinary metaverse an ordinary part of life. And we are your hosts of this amazing show. And I'm super excited about today's show because it's gonna be incredible. Now, Joy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel good, man. I just feel good. Let's check in with the audience. We have Sweaty Nugget JJ. I know what audience coming from, saying first in the building. We appreciate you for coming in first. Yes, indeed. El Michelle said, we in here. That's right.
Hey
Virtual
there,
Steve
El.
said, my first episode of this podcast ever. Skeeva and Alex brought me here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Our fam show futuristic in the building. Hey y'all, what's good? D is in the building as well with the hearts.
Hey D.
Hey, we appreciate you. We appreciate you. Infinity. That's right. We got to be hyped all the way infinity. You know what I'm talking about. And we got Lisi in the building. Get them
Hey
to the
there,
metaverse.
Lisi.
What's up, fam? We see you.
And we have to shout out Dame's Live. I know I saw him as well.
Oh my goodness,
Dame
sure did.
is on
Yes,
that.
so
Hey
we
there,
ready to
Dame.
get them to the metaverse. One of the most
Yes.
incredible talk show hosts in Horizon Worlds. So make sure if you ever in
Yes.
Horizon Worlds that you take the time to go to Dane's Live on Friday. He just finished his third season, I believe, and we'll be going to another one real soon. So you ready to get into this week's breaking news, Joy?
Let's go.
Because we got a lot. We got a lot to talk about, and I'm excited about getting right into it right now. Right? All right. So, first of all, I gotta say this because you know how we get down. I had to sneak one in here.
Okay.
All right, so Meta just came out the blue today with some swag. I think they kind of amping up for something, man. They trying to
I
like
think so too.
steal the steam from others right now. You know, so Meta had announced that they've been working in a partnership with BMW on some really cool tech. Now, there was some talk about this at CES and a few other trade shows lately about automobiles and virtual reality XR devices, right?
Yeah.
And so the idea is that you'll be able to use these devices while you're in the car. Now, I don't know about any of you who have ever tried to use the Quest 2.
Lord Jesus, I know I did.
Look, I remember she had to do like some type of event, and she was riding home, she got in the headset.
I
thinking
said that
she
I was not going to be late, so I'm like, I'm going to try it and get this on. I'm sitting in the front seat. Jay Dunn is driving. I'm logging in. I'm like, okay, I got my Guardian. Everything is going on. And then all of a sudden, everything is like, whoosh. I'm like, wait, what? I can't do it. I can't.
Yeah.
Do it. I tried. But
it's a lot. So Meta is working with BMW. Now I don't know if this is specifically going to be locked down to just BMW. I'm hoping that it's not, and I'm certain it's not even something that's really technically supposed to be running quite yet on Quest 2, maybe even not Quest Pro, maybe something that they're alluding to with Quest 3, but just the technology that they're showing off is spatial anchors and being able to have things anchored in the car, and it looked pretty legit. Now, of course, this is all fabricated, all showing what could be possible. We don't know exactly what it looks like in allegedly, but I'm excited about what's the potential here, and using VR in the car. I mean, of course, don't be driving.
Don't drive.
Pass through is not good enough for that. Okay, now HTC and others, and HTC, if you want to sponsor us, count that their pass through is pretty good. But I don't think pass through is quite there yet. Maybe when Apple comes to the game, maybe they'll be that. Maybe we'll be seeing something there. Now,
maybe so.
Speaking of Apple. We got a shout out from Palmer Luckey, the father of what we would say modern day VR headsets, the rebirth of VR. Put out a tweet saying the Apple headset is so good, and I don't know. I don't know if because he's a joker now. He likes to be cryptic. He likes to play a little bit. So I don't know. What you think about this? What you think about this?
I don't know. I'm having high expectations about the Apple headset. I mean, like I said, you can't rush perfection.
That's
so,
right.
I mean, if they have to push it back all these times, they want to get it right the first time.
Yes.
And so I am so looking forward to the Apple headset.
Listen,
what about you?
The money ain't there, but I'm trying to get it there. Y'all can help us. All right, now look, man, listen, I'm so amped about this Apple headset. I have been waiting for years. I'm about ready to email Tim Cook, Craig Federighi, and all the entire senior team and be like, yo, check this out. Been an Apple fanboy for years. Send that bad boy our way. We need two. We need two.
You gonna be fanboying?
We need two. Okay. Just in case, just in case. But I'm really excited, and Palmer Luckey saying that. I have a feeling that if he was the father, let's say, of the modern day VR, that he had to have seen it. You gotta kind of have that person who's kind of started the fire and be like, yo, what you think about this? So I have a feeling that he did see it. I don't know what prototype or what version of it he saw. There was a article I read where they had a little bit longer where he said, I haven't seen the most latest version of it, but I have seen a version. So even if that means an older version was good, it's got to speak pretty well for what they're doing, right? So, all right, we'll move on to our next thing here. Now, Google's trying to I feel like they're starting to kind of come in a little bit more, step their toes in just a tad bit more back into AR VR. They did Google Glass a couple of years ago, and it didn't.
We're not gonna talk about
It
that.
didn't go well. I think it was just way too early, just way too early for that
Yeah.
technology. So they're working on this new thing called Google Project Starline. What do you think about this telepresence type device, Joy?
Anything that will push the VR platform forward, this augmented space, and to make it mainstream,
Yeah,
I am all for it because all it is going to do is push this technology forward and get more people into this space. So I am
yeah.
super excited to see, and I wish it much success.
Yeah, I'm really excited about seeing it. So basically, they had a big. This was like a Google I/O maybe one or two ago, where they talked
Mhm.
about this Project Starline and what it was, and it was a bigger display. It took a lot more technology. It was not as advanced as what we're looking like now, but it looks like if a person's sitting right in the room with you, this 3D projection almost like a hologram esque. Not yet Star
Mm.
Wars level holograms, but we're getting close. And I think this is the if we're reading the tea leaves, telepresence is very important to big tech.
Mhm.
Telepresence, Horizon Home with the Meta devices. I know HTC got the Viveverse. They're everyone's trying to build this new telepresence. It's rumored with
Mhm.
Apple, FaceTime in virtual reality or 3D environments, and having this presence of a person, and that's what I believe this is trying to nail down. So we're definitely going to have to keep our eyes on that. Speaking of Google, though, they also, once again, are shining a lot more light on AR. I think this is a forthcoming, right? Because Google
Mhm.
and Samsung and Qualcomm are working together on a secretive device that's supposedly slated for later this year as at least an
Mhm.
announcement. And so they wanted to kind of mess around with the software and they wanted to talk about these geospatial creator. What do you think about this tool that they're trying to promote?
I am super
Yeah.
excited about it. I know I sound like a broken record, but I am so excited about all this different tech that we can try and experiment with and just make it get better. I'm just super excited for it.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be really cool. So I haven't had a chance to actually mess with the SDK or the tools, but I have seen some Space Invader demos and things like that, and I think it's gonna be actually really incredible what you're gonna be able to do with this platform. And I'm assuming this is gonna be a layer for it's built on AR Core, which is their tools similar to AR Kit for the iPhone. So I'm really excited to see what they come back with later this year as they launch that out. And the last thing we want to talk about for the breaking news this week is this guy. Okay, this, if you don't know, is Andrew Bosworth. We call him Boz. He is the
Mhm.
CTO of Meta, and he did two things in the last weeks or two. He's been making a lot of noise on social media. He likes to clap back at peeps. He likes to kind of be like, "Yo, just accept your loss." When it comes down to certain conversations about the metaverse dying, etc. But what is really exciting is that he actually made a mention on his latest AMA that he does on Instagram every once in a while, where he says we're in for a big sea change with VR. In fact, he called it VR 2.0.
Mhm.
So, Joy, I gotta ask you, what do you think is VR 2.0?
I think that is the expansion of what's already here. I really feel as though we are entering into this next era of all these different companies jumping into this thing, pushing the platform forward.
Yeah.
Really.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm really excited about seeing like the mixed reality layer because I do believe he's really kind of digging more into Quest 3 being the next platform, the platform shift for them. Apple's coming with their headset with doing mixed reality things as well. And so I'm really excited about what we might see as a VR 2.0 shift. And maybe we'll talk with our guests a little bit later too about what they think is coming in VR 2.0 as well.
Yes.
Yes. So let's get into our apps of the week. Joy, this your area where you love to have fun. So what is your app of the week this week?
My app of the week is Noun Town. And
Okay.
I have been wanting to learn some new languages and whatnot. And so Noun Town has really, really been helping me. And you can choose from Japanese, Chinese, Spanish, French, German, or Italian. Yes, all that on one app.
Come
I
on.
said the same thing. I was like, wait, what? And it's all those on one app. And it teaches you, and it has different stuff like numbers, greetings, questions, colors, and phrases to get you started
Come
on
on.
learning a new language and being able to communicate with
Okay.
other people. So yeah, in different languages. So I'm super excited about that one.
I'm like, can you speak a little, you know what I'm saying, something to me, you know what I'm saying? I like when you speak in a different language, you know what I'm
I
saying?
cannot.
I'm just saying, I have a love language of you speaking in other languages to me, you know what I'm saying? But that's really cool. It shows that virtual reality has another leg. It's not just games, it's not just, mixed reality capture, things like that. It's also education can be shifted. We talked a little bit about that last week, and a few times
Absolutely.
we had Dr. Morris on, who is one of the people who spearheaded one of the first HBCUs to have a metaverse college digital twin. So I believe
Mhm.
there is a lot of big things happening in that space, and I'm excited about more
Yeah,
applications like this.
it helps you retain stuff by you doing things and tasks physically. And
Yeah.
then also too, I thought that it wasn't going to be that great of picking up me, really saying the word and realizing if I'm saying it incorrectly or correctly. So I did a couple of tests, and it was like, no, you did not say it right. You got to say it right. And we're not moving on until you say it right. So it's amazing.
Awesome, man. All right, well, I'm gonna have to test this thing out now. I'm gonna have to check this thing out. All right,
Yeah.
so, all right, now my app for the week is actually an oldie but goodie. They just updated it with some really cool stuff like the Meta avatars. I'm really in love with the Meta avatar platform.
Mhm.
And man, this thing, 11 table tennis, all right? It sounds weird. Late at night, guys, as a stress release, one day I was like, I've never really played this app. I never liked the little cat avatar and the little stuff they
Mhm.
had in there. Like, I like immersion. I like to look like myself and stuff. So I got in it, started playing it, and man, I'm not gonna lie, I spent like 40 minutes one night just back and forth, right? I haven't been brave enough to get online yet. I'm just kind of going through the computer and training and learning how to play better. But
Yeah.
the level, it's pretty realistic, believe it or not. And so even though it's an older one of the first games you would probably even see on the Quest platform,
Mhm.
it's been updated so many times, and they added some music and different levels and changed all the way the menu looks. It's really, really cool. So shout out to the
Yeah.
developers for that. So I'm really having a blast playing that as well. And the last thing we're going to talk about is our cool new app or app update of the week, and that is Mash Me Up. They came out with an incredible new update where it includes using your voice. Now, this application is on App Lab, and me and Joy have so much fun with this app. What do you have to say about this app, Joy?
I think that it is a great date night game. And especially if you have other people or just a group of friends that you just want to hang out with and play this
Yeah.
game, it's amazing. So y'all definitely check that out.
Yeah, so I'm really, really excited about what is coming with that. I think they have like almost like a Jeopardy type mode that they're building with it as well, and they have kind of like a poker game in there added. So they've added a lot of things, but the main ingredient here is the microphone edition, where you can actually use your real voice in game to make things happen. And so I see this as a trend a lot more in these applications. We're beginning to see this really change the sea of how we use VR with our
Absolutely.
hands and with our voice. So really excited about that. Well, before we bring in our guests, we got to check in because first of all, we got to talk about this super chat. Game and Drinks just dropped in here. Hey, bro,
Hey,
just
thank
showing
you so
some
much,
love.
Game
We
and Drink.
appreciate you, brother, for real. Always being one of the first to tune in. Look, we got Vin
Yes.
Diesel in the building saying family.
Hey there.
Hey, look, we'll accept it. We accept it. You know what I'm saying? We love it. Elvis Show was talking about the Google Project Starline, saying this is next dimension. That AR is fire. Yes, we are super
Yes.
excited. They nailed the physics in that game. I'm sure, talking about 11 table tennis. So, man, listen. We got so much to talk about tonight with our guests, but I wanted to do a nice intro because these fellas, have just become such a family to us. And so I want to first start this off by saying this: if you don't know who Alex and Skeeva are, let me help adjust the room here. Okay. All right. So Alex and Skeeva are the amazing hosts of Between Realities podcast. Together, they have become one of the most well-known VR podcasts in the metaverse and out. If they are not nerding out on VR and XR tech on their podcast, you can find them still fighting the good fight for virtual reality in their careers. Alice can be found at Connect Contact CI, helping to create an even deeper level of immersion through haptics, technology that will change the way we use XR devices, while Skeeva can be found at Impact Reality, building what I believe is a VR marketing powerhouse full of incredible content creators and content strategists to help take VR apps and games to the next level, right? And so, without further ado, we want to introduce our friends, our family, the amazing, incredible hosts of Between Realities podcast, Alex and Skeeva. Yo! Yo, wow. We are so excited to have you guys on the podcast. Welcome to Get 'em to the Metaverse. Now, this is one of my favorite parts of the show. The reason why is because the beautiful Joy Rain gets to take the stage and kind of take it to a whole nother level. So I'm going to relinquish this over to her so we can get the ball rolling. Let's go, Joy Rain.
Well, welcome, guys. And so we're going to just jump right on into it. So how did you first become interested in VR, and what inspired you to create a podcast together?
Woo-wee! What's up, y'all? First of all, thank you for having us. This is awesome. We are big fans of getting things done and getting to the metaverse. So it's a pleasure and an honor to be here with you both. Second of all, check out the shirt, okay? Rep the thread.
You better rep it.
To the metaverse, all right? Link in the description below. Go buy it, okay? Because you need it in your life and in your closet.
That's it.
That's it.
Yes.
So,
Go get it.
Anyway, Skeeva, how you doing, buddy?
Dude, I'm great, man. How am I not? Look at where we are. This is amazing.
Things could be worse, dude.
Things could be worse.
All right, so Joy Rain has asked us a question. Do you want to take this to get us started, or do you want me to, or what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to say thanks too, guys. Thank you so much for having us on the show. This is truly one of the best podcasts I've ever listened to. The amount of energy and passion you guys bring to this space is infectious, and it's wonderful. And I really love what you guys do, and I appreciate you.
Come on, man.
So much.
The hype is real.
You're making us cry, buddy. Okay? You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that right now. Okay? All right.
All right. So the question, what was the question again? How did we get into VR?
So how did you first become interested in VR, and what inspired you to create a podcast together?
All right. So what inspired me to get into VR was two main things. First of all, when I was younger, this movie came out, and it's called The Lawnmower Man. And this movie just blew my mind, and it really showed like this tech that none of us had seen yet, right? I mean, there was really old, the beginnings of VR that it started a long time earlier, but we had nothing like we did in that movie, and we have nothing like we have right now. So this movie came out, and as a kid, it just enthralled me, and I was so excited for VR. I then got to go to this Future Expo in Boston, Massachusetts, with my uncle. I was really young, and I got into this headset called the Virtuality, which was this giant headset with a CRT screen. It was 20 frames a second, and I got in this big ring with one controller. Everything's wired. This headset is so heavy, it's held up by an arm or something. It was absolutely bananas. But for the first time ever, I had felt like I had entered a video game. I'd felt this sense of presence that I had never experienced before, and I was so blown away. And the first experience too was actually a multiplayer experience. I got to go in with my sister, was really young, and I got to shoot her, and I was like blown away. I was like, what is happening right now? I'm like in this game. And then ever since, I've been like completely obsessed with with the idea of virtual reality. And as I got older, it became more of a philosophical thing in my mind too, of
Yeah.
reality in general. And it really just melted my brain. And then VR happened, like current day VR happened. Palmer Luckey duct taped together the original,
Come on.
Rift, and
Come on for the duct tape.
then, yeah, man, and that was it, dude. I was instantly hooked. I lost my mind. VR came out. I like had to like quit my job. Like I had an IT company. I got rid of it. I'm like, I can't do any of this anymore. I have to do
Yeah.
VR. Like it just completely grabbed me like nothing else ever has. And I see the future of not where it is right now, but where it's going to be, and how many industries and how much stuff it's going to change. And this is where I need to be. So I'm glad. Thank you for letting me be here, because this is
Of
awesome
course.
to tell my story.
Yeah.
And Alex, you're up.
It's pretty great. I think my virtual reality journey kind of started with the Nintendo Wii, believe it or not. I was a big fan I'm a huge fan of Nintendo, by the way, and I haven't played VR in days because Zelda's out, so
Come on.
throwing that
Come
out
on
there.
now.
But I'm a huge Nintendo fan. I was playing with the Wii, and it turns out that the Nintendo Wii is pretty easy to modify via software. You can just like hack it by dropping an SD card in the front and run a couple of executables, and boom, there you go. You've like unlocked it. And I was watching a lot of videos on YouTube and downloading all kinds of stuff. And I mean, this is when the Wii was relevant. I don't even know if the Wii U was out yet. And I was watching people do all kinds of cool stuff with it. And one person kind of swapped where the sensor bar and Wiimote is, and like put the sensor bar attached to their head and put the Wiimote as the sensor on the computer or on the TV screen.
Wow.
And then when they moved
Oh
their
my
head,
goodness.
they actually were creating head-based tracking on the TV screen, and like targets were like shifting in 3D on the TV. So when I saw this video, it like really got my gears turning, and it made me realize that one day, like a head-mounted display is going to be like a real thing, and it's going to provide a level of immersion that we've never experienced before.
Yeah.
Really the main thing being like imagining a first-person shooter, like any first-person shooter that's existed before VR, like Halo, for example. When you're playing Halo, it's almost as if your weapon is attached to your chin, because if I wanted to peek a corner, you have to like actually go around the corner with your whole body to see it, right?
Yes.
And when I realized that a head-mounted display would enable me to like look one direction and fire in the other, right? Or blind fire around a corner by sticking my weapon out, I was like waiting for VR. I was like, okay, I see what's coming, and I cannot wait. And I started seeing videos of like Mark Zuckerberg and his early involvement with virtual reality before he purchased Oculus, and doing like video calls in VR, like what we see today as workrooms, and waited for the right opportunity. Jumped into some demos, did a Best Buy demo of a PlayStation VR, and that really
Love
got
it.
me going. And then I went and bought some time at a VR arcade, and jumped into a multiplayer experience there. And it was
Awesome.
Rec Room. And it's when I high-fived somebody across space and time and felt it in my hand that I was basically all-in believer, both feet forward. Just high-fiving somebody in Rec Room, boom, haptic sensation hits my hand. I'm like, oh my God, I felt that.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Absolutely love that. That history, that rich history that y'all just shared with us. So going to Skeeva, tell us more about Impact Reality and your mission to help the VR developers gain more traction.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. So I have dabbled in some things in VR, and I've worked for some companies. I used to work for Vertigo Games, the creators of Arizona Sunshine and After the Fall, and some really, really good titles. And I helped them with many things from location-based VR services to community management, some of their PR stuff. Just a whole bunch of things, and helping publish, find them titles to publish and games to look at. And after a little while, I was very happy to be working there. After the Fall was my favorite game at the time, and is still one of my absolute favorite games. I really love that game. So it's great to work with games that I was really excited about. But then I realized like I'm helping this one company grow, and that's great. right? But I need to rise all of VR. Like it all
Yeah.
has to come up, right? So I've been going to conferences all this time. I've really been kind of building my network of people I know, just because I just love going to expos and meeting all the people that are making what I love. These are the people I want to hang out with, and this is the tech that I love. So I've acquired this vast, network of people and knowledge of how all of this stuff is working.
Hmm.
And I decided to go in with Eric Masher from QTC VR Gamer, and Jasmine at VR with Jasmine, and create this company to try to help as many VR studios and hardware companies as we can to find their audience,
Yes.
to
Yeah,
be able
love
to
that.
like really market their games and market their hardware platforms, and bring their stuff to as many people as possible, because VR is a little different than flat gaming, right? So
A hundred
so it's a
percent.
little
Hmm.
bit, yeah, it's a little different on your strategies and stuff. So I really just wanted to help all of VR grow as many studios as I could. So been doing that and really helping these places find their audience through everything from working with different influencers to working with the headset companies and bringing them
Yeah.
games and trying to get all of these games, these amazing games that we know about, onto all these different platforms, as well as standard PR, marketing, community building, all of this stuff. Have great clients like Ghosts of Tabor, which is my current favorite game. This game has completely like taken over my life.
Yes.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
we're able to find these games that people don't know about and go, oh wow, let's bring this to the masses. And it's just been great, and I've been having a blast doing it.
Love it. Love it.
Awesome. And Alex, so tell us more about the Contact CI and the work that you do with haptics.
Sure. So, yeah, I'm the strategic partnerships manager at Contact CI, which is a multi-force ergonomic haptic company. And what I mean by that is that the approach to the haptic experience is one with multiple forces and with ergonomics in mind. So the company
Oh,
makes a glove that allows you to feel your hands-on interactions in VR when you're using hand tracking applications.
yeah.
And there's vibration actuators on each fingertip, as well as force feedback restriction of motion via exotendons that run through the backside of the gloves and into the housing that rests on your forearm. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, it's pretty
Awesome.
cool. One of our biggest clients is the U.S. Air Force, so they use the glove to train their pilots in virtual cockpits in a way that is scalable and repeatable and cost-effective compared to having to like put them in a traditional trainer, which can cost like hundreds of thousands of dollars to build and be difficult to move around. And ultimately, just like any type of like enterprise-based training solution where the controllers aren't cutting it, like not
Yeah.
everything makes sense for controllers, so people really want to get their hands in there to like learn hands-on skills, and that's what Contact CI is all about.
Love
Awesome.
it,
Awesome.
man.
Love that. Love that. And so, for our audience who do not know you or may have not heard of you, tell us and let the people know what unique perspectives and expertise do you feel that you two bring with be- Between Realities podcast?
Well, if you go to our Twitter page, you'll see in the little bio there, it says the VR podcast, a VR podcast from the philosophical gamer's perspective. And Skeeva kind of touched on this a little bit earlier when he was talking about how it's kind of become this like philosophical discussion for him.
Yeah.
When we became friends, we would just kind of like hang out at Skeeva's house and just like sit there and chat about just just how profound this technology actually is.
Hmm.
Something that I like to say often is the R in VR is not to be taken lightly, and I
Yeah.
really believe that. Like the R stands for reality, folks, and that's really what these experiences are. Where
Yeah.
if you think about the nature of the reality we're experiencing, it's a sensory perception experience. It's the light hitting your eyes, it's the sound waves hitting your ears, it's the vibrations that your nerves feel. So ultimately what VR is doing is hijacking your sensory perception input and
Yeah.
literally recreating reality right in front of your face. And
Absolutely.
that to me sparks all kinds of philosophical questions, like what does it mean to have an experience, right? Like
Yeah.
I've spent all kinds of time in VR with all three of you, and we've been doing double dates in VR with my wife and with getting things done, and we've been having a really good time.
Yeah, we sure have.
Did we do that? Did we go into a dungeon or not? You know what I mean? Like, it's the defining reality is ultimately a conversation that is inevitable when you start to bring this technology into things. And that is, in my opinion, what we do that not a lot of people are doing in the space, is trying
Love that.
to have as many of these like deeply philosophical conversations as possible, and hopefully starting to get ahead of some of these problems, frankly, that are going to start to be popping up in the future. There's a lot of ethical concerns, a lot of moral
Yes.
dilemmas that we're going to need to
Yes.
be kind of figuring things out as we go. And the more prepared we can be for that, the better.
So
I
I
love it.
really enjoy the philosophical part of this, but we can't push the conversation in that way every time, and we have guests on our show every week, right?
Yeah.
And these guests do many different things, from make VR games to content creators, to hardware companies. So depending on what they do, we really kind of want to focus and dive in on them too, right? We kind of deep dive
Yeah.
on how they got into VR, what's happening in their life, what are they doing now, what have they worked on in the past. So we really do get into a lot of the backstory of a lot of the different people that are really making a splash in the virtual reality scene. Some of those people are extremely philosophical too, like Kent Bai or Karam, or just a lot of different people that we've had on our show, and we really do enjoy going down that road when we can. But yeah, come on
Love
over
that.
and check it out. We do our show from a spaceship between realities, and we fly in and we scoop up these guests every week. So come check it out.
Love it,
Yeah, if you
man.
think about it, the name Between Realities almost implies our philosophical perspective, right? Because, like, let's
Yes.
say you're going to sit down and have a VR session. You stand in your living room and then you put on a headset. And the second you put on a headset, it's almost like you're not in your living room anymore. You're there in Beat Saber / in blocks, So, yes, you're in Beat Saber, but also, yes, you're in your living room. Like, you're like in both simultaneously. Are you in both simultaneously, or are you somewhere in between?
In
That's right, ladies
between.
and
I
gentlemen.
love that.
Between Realities every Friday.
Absolutely love that. Jayden, do you want to check with our audience?
Sure, of course. Always love to check in with the audience. Let me actually bring it in right here. So first off, we see Lisi was in here talking about Blink Kareem and Kent with the XOXO. Shout out to that.
Yes.
Rex said, great point. Don't forget the R in VR for sure. Gamer Drink said, Arizona Sunshine is so fun. And of course, we had Obscure Nerd coming in saying, yo, buddies, what's good? So,
What up, Andy?
definitely love to see it, and we are enjoying this so much. I really think about when you talk about between realities, not beyond realities.
Hey, there we are.
But between realities, there's something. Ever since beginning to watch a show, I told Joy this when I first started getting really deep into VR. I'm big on researching the space. So your show was already something that was going on when I first got into VR, and I was like, man, these guys on the spaceship, they got, I didn't even know what platform it was. I didn't know if it was Neos. I didn't know what it was at the time. So I was like, man, this is so cool. They got all these cool devs coming on, and it really does allow you to see the perspective of not just the reality that they're making as developers or people in the space, but their reality of their lives,
Absolutely.
and who they are. When you had us on, shout out to you guys once again for having us on. It was just a powerful conversation about what made us get into the space, but also why does it mean so much to us, and why do we want to build down to that. So just love this conversation. Let's keep it going. Joy.
Absolutely. So the next question, we're going to deep dive into it now. So how do you all feel the current state of diversity and inclusion is in the VR industry?
Who's first?
Either one.
Skeeva, you
Either
go first.
one.
Man, so I don't feel like diversity is in the best place in VR currently. Um, there's you go into a lot of these apps, and Jadon, I know you've talked about you want to feel like you're you still. Some people want to
Yes.
go in and they want to feel like they're a cat or an anime thing, right? Like whatever you want to be, but like it's really important to try to like make everyone feel comfortable. And a lot of these social platforms, we're not quite there yet, where we're kind of we need some more work in that field.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
this is a very small, it's still niche, it's still very few companies compared to video games in general, right? But I don't think that should be that's an excuse. I think we just need to continue um, to try to represent everybody, to try to like really um, make VR a safe and really like good feeling place for everyone to come and hang out. And sometimes
Absolutely.
it's hard, like
Yes.
um, so yeah, I mean, I think we got a lot of growing to do in VR in general. But when it comes
Yeah.
to if you're a zombie, then I think you have more than enough places to go and feel at home because it's always on.
Yeah,
There's
Yes.
always
for
a
real.
zombie.
Yes.
Well, and it definitely doesn't like obviously like diversity is like a pretty big topic, what are we talking? Are we talking diversity in the avatar representations, right? Or what about just like how many different kinds of people are professionally working in the space or are content creators, or all of that kind of stuff. I
Yeah. And
personally
also women as well.
and women for sure. I will say I have been a gamer my whole life, right? Like I've always been a gamer. I've always been a bit of a nerd, like if it's nerdy, I'm probably into it, playing
Yeah.
Pokemon when I'm younger and Nintendo and all of this
Come on,
stuff,
Pokemon.
for sure, dude. I love it. So I've always kind of been into the nerdy stuff. And I personally feel that VR is one of the more diverse nerdy communities that I've ever personally been able to participate in. Now,
Mhm.
Skeeve is 100% right. There's room for improvement. I would love to see as many different types of people as possible enter the space and come and like hang out with us and do all of this. But Joy Rain, you mentioned women. I feel like every time I go to an event, there's women all over the place. Like there's women working professionally, there's women who are content creators, and maybe the men outnumber them. But I still feel like I have
Mhm.
so many great friends who are ladies who I've had the
Yeah.
chance to meet through the VR community, and I'm really really grateful for that. Um, so
Absolutely.
yeah, I want to see improvements. I want to see as many people be as included as possible in this, and I certainly don't want to be like the demographic that people, I don't know, like hold something against because there's too many of us. You know what I mean? So hopefully we can get things mixed up perfectly, so that way we can focus less on all of that
Yeah.
kind of stuff and more on the thing that we love.
You,
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, Joe. I wanted to
Oh, no, no,
say
go ahead.
something there because it's important to us, especially this podcast. We talk about it every show. Is seeing representation, and it is representation in all areas, not just representation in content creation, representation in the boardroom, representation in the developer room. And knowing that this is an opportunity. Here's the thing: if the way a lot of times this works is when you look up at the TV or you look up at a thing, let's say you were looking at astronauts back in the 60s. You didn't, as an African American male, you might have been like, I don't see anyone that looks like me. So I don't know if that's a field I can go into. We
Yeah.
know later on, sure. But as you look at VR, when I first got in it, all the major content creators, except for one person, which was Tech Manju, was basically of a different ethnicity, a different race or creed. And so for me, it was a immediate call to action of I want to have someone younger than me be able to go to YouTube, type in VR, and see someone that looks like them. Not so much because I want to capture that person, but more so I want to show them that this is a route, this is a way that's going to work. We started getting to the metaverse. It was very important to Joy. It was very important to me that it was representation as a male female as well. Not just that, married couple, because yes, we see married couples in here, but a lot of times the VR date nights, things like that. We want to really push that narrative of inclusion and make sure. So that's why we always want to ask that question on the show. And I know Joy has a follow up to that as well.
Yeah, so we're going to be switching gears and we're going to ask this question, okay? So, what are some emerging trends and advancements in the VR industry that both of you particularly find exciting and promising? What y'all looking forward to?
Advancements in the space that we
Yes.
find promising and exciting.
Yes.
I mean, Apple getting in the space is pretty promising. It's pretty exciting. That's a pretty
Yeah.
huge advancement, especially when, like you said in the news section, you got Palmer Luckey tweeting about it. It's kind of a big deal. So that's huge. You know, I'm obviously working professionally in the haptic space, so it's something that I kind of have my finger on the pulse of more than a lot of other people. And I think there's a lot of room for growth in the haptic space. You know, right
Yeah.
now, controllers vibrate in your hands and that's good enough, you know, and it kind of is good enough, to be completely frank. Like, it works for a lot of the intended use cases, but like I said earlier, we're talking about recreating reality, and the sense of
Yeah.
touch is arguably the most important sense you have. So as haptics improve, I think it's going to just dramatically increase the level of realism that we have in our VR experiences, and I'm hoping to be a part of that as things continue to grow.
Awesome.
You
What
know, I
about
think
you, Skeeva?
I'm gonna go with I have two things that excite me here, and I don't want to steal Alex's Apple answer, but I'm gonna a little bit because I think you know, I'm part of all these chats, and I see content creators talking about like, oh, Apple, does this really matter? People are gonna buy a $3,000 headset. I feel like a lot of people truly don't maybe understand what Apple's going to bring to the table here. This is a $3
Yes.
trillion company that makes
Yes.
things for people that they don't know they want yet.
Come
Right?
on.
Everyone just remember, it's hard to think back to the day before the iPhone or smartphones, right? You think back and you look at like yeah, there was some smart type stuff, right? There was like the Palm Pilot and some really stuff that didn't work very well. It wasn't very compelling. It was like it was really only used by a handful of people because they saw the potential in the future of what it might be. And then Apple came out and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna make this phone," and everyone's like, "Apple's making a phone? What a bunch of dum dums! Like they don't know what they're doing, right?" And then all of a sudden, everyone in the world has one. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Apple then came out with the iPad, and like no one, like Steve Jobs walks out on the stage and he's like, "Check this out," and no one even clapped. It was really embarrassing, right? And he was like, "No, seriously, when you guys get this in your hands, you're gonna think different." Now everyone's got an iPad. It's absolutely nuts. You know, Tim Cook talks about how the one thing that he sees that's really exciting in the future is spatial computing,
Yeah.
and it's this untapped thing. And all we really know of it right now is games, right? And games are great. Games are my favorite thing ever. Like it's what got me into technology in general. It's what like has driven kind of my life into where I am right now, and it's what brings me the most joy. So I love games, but at the same time, what Apple brings to this is they have a full ecosystem of apps that are integrated into everyone's lives right now. They know
Yes.
how to make sexy, sleek tech that people want to use. They know how to make really good UIs and interfaces that anyone can pick up, from a 4-year-old to a 90-year-old, and they can figure out how to use it. Now, one of the things I hear most about Meta and the Quest from a lot of people that aren't tech savvy is they can't figure out the menus. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what's happening with the systems and the menus and all this stuff, and they have a really hard time with it. I think Apple's going to change all that. I think that we're going to see a lot of everyday life things starting to be integrated into the tech. Whether and this is, please keep in mind that this is going to be a very expensive dev kit. This is going to be something that is going to come out way above, you know, most of our price points that we want to spend on something like this, but it's going to be so developers and companies that are more forward thinking can take this and then build on it. So as the tech gets cheaper and cheaper, the infrastructure and all of the things on it will already be there. It'll already be a compelling experience for all these people to buy into. The other thing is, like, people are going to walk into, all kinds of people, all from all over the country, all over the world, walk into Apple stores. They go looking for phones. They go to like, get help with their computer,
Yeah.
maybe find a new program, right? And they all walk in and they got to wait for a minute, and everyone plays with the new phones. They
Oh,
all
Yes.
play with
yes.
new tech. People that have no idea that VR is even a thing, or that
Come on,
AR or
man.
MR is a thing, they're going to be like, what is this? They're going to put
Yes.
that headset on their face for the first time. They're going to have their minds melted, and they're going to be able to see like this potential of spatial computing, virtual and mixed reality that they had
Yes.
no idea even existed. Like, we're in this bubble, so we think everyone knows about this stuff,
Very true.
but they don't. You know what I mean? People bring,
Yeah.
I talk to people all the time, like, oh yeah, I heard, maybe they've heard of the Quest, and they're like, I put it on, and like I couldn't see my kid, and I was tripping over the dog, and I got motion sick, and like you're like, oh man, dang it. But like Apple, right? You're gonna be able to, you get like, this thing has a laptop chip in it. This is not a cell phone
Preach
processor,
now.
right?
Preach.
Yeah.
This thing has like full super high definition screens, really high def color pass through, right? People are going to put this on. They're going to be able to like you're going to be hanging out, doing whatever. Boom, there's your text messaging popping up. Oh, I should check, mom needs this. They're going to like,
Yeah.
maybe they need to go somewhere, and they see like a line drawn with arrows to get them to where they need to be. I don't know that people will be in the grocery stores with these things yet, but eventually
I
they
will.
will. And
I
they'll
will.
be like, no, I need
You
this
will.
cereal. Where
Right.
is this?
And also, you're
Where is
talking
it?
about this, like you mentioned earlier, like this is going to be an expensive dev kit. So
Yes.
many people talk about iPhone, the
Mhm.
iPhone moment, right? Like here in the chat, I saw somebody mention like Rex mentioned that is like an iPhone moment. And, you said you kind of started with the iPhone too, but for me, it almost like, from my perspective, from where I'm sitting, it started with the iPod. Like
Yeah.
iPod
Oh yeah.
blew my
Yeah.
mind. Like that was the craziest thing ever. Like I threw out all my CDs, like instantly changed the
And
game.
then it was a symbol when they saw those white ear
Yes.
strings
Yeah.
like just hanging from you. It's
Right.
like it was a symbol of I got the real thing. This is
Right.
it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the iPhone to me is like the next step after the iPod. So if this is the dev kit, if this is the first iPod, imagine
Yeah.
what that evolves into. It becomes the iPhone, right? So this is their
Mhm.
very first headset. It's going to look like ancient after 10, 15 years, like it's
Yeah.
crazy when you see those first iPods with like the black and white screen and like the dial on it and stuff. It's almost laughable when you realize where they've gone with this technology. So
100%.
that's
Yeah,
like
for
what
real.
like gets me like future tripping, and I'm like, oh my gosh, bro, like in 5 years, 10 years, like things are gonna be incredible.
For
Yes.
sure.
It
People,
is.
people might eventually not go to Apple to buy a laptop anymore. Why
100%.
exactly are you going to want a laptop that you have to fold up, put in your backpack, take it out, squint at the screen, prop it up in front of you on an airplane, try to smush it between the seat and thing, when you can
Yeah.
just put on these glasses, have
Yeah.
47 different screens if you want, have a massive cinema display,
Yes.
be able to like do all of this work, do these things, bring people into your space, go to other people's spaces, do all of the things that you want to do in everyday life, but with glasses. Like this is a
Yes.
laptop replacement where, where the Quest, has a cell phone chip in it, and it can do some
Correct.
things. And Meta always says we want to be the Chromebook, and
Correct.
Apple's like, well, we want to be the MacBook on your
Let's
face.
go. Yes.
So this is going to be practical. It's going to do things that normal everyday people want to do. Grandma doesn't want to go shoot zombies. She wants to like communicate with her kid, see her grandkid from across the country. Like you're going to be able to do a lot of amazing practical things with this headset. And the people who go out and buy Apple, typically, like if you're going to go and buy an Apple laptop, it's not because you're a budget shopper.
Yeah.
If you want
Yeah.
something more budget, you can absolutely go buy a Quest. There's a million different options. This is going to be super high end. It's going to be for the people they're targeting, their current audience who go and they spend a lot of money as it is. But
Yeah.
the main thing is that it's going
Mhm.
to introduce VR to people and AR to people that have no idea what they're in for. And so many people are going to see the future for the first
Yes.
time, and it's going to be glorious.
You
And
know,
I cannot wait.
it's so crazy. I had to go to the Apple store today. Just so happened had to go to the Apple store today to swap out my phone. Had a situation with it, and I was talking to one of the employees there, and I was like, yeah, we was talking about WWDC, and he was like, yeah, what you excited about? I was like, iPhone and iOS 17, but that XR device. And his eyes, like he looked at me, he was like, you really believe that that's gonna happen? I was like, oh yeah, buddy, it's happening. He was like, dude, what do you? He started talking to me like all low. He was like, where would we put it in here? I said, dude, it don't matter where you put it. I said you didn't have an Apple Watch when I first came to get the iPad from that store. You didn't have an Apple Watch. You didn't have all these different Mac Minis. You didn't have none of that. So you had space for what you had space for. Now you got all these things in the same room. You're gonna make room for this XR device, and I'm telling you, it's going to blow people's minds that you can literally walk up to a store and try this thing on and go into the metaverse. I'm sure they're not going to call it the metaverse, but I'm excited because it validates finally. And I know for you guys, it means so much because it's about to validate something that we're all been just putting our all into. The second Joy danced with the robot, the second
that's my moment.
I heard the boot up sound. For me, I was like, whoa, this is cool. Like going through the first steps, just knowing and seeing that thing, it really, really engages you to a level that we're about to step into, like Boz said, into the next 2.0, that sea change, that platform shift where it stops being laughed at and now Apple validates it and makes it something so powerful that it's going to really change the way we do things. So man, I'm just enjoying talking and nerding out with you guys, and it looks like the audience is enjoying it as well. We had Vinci Games, shout out to oh my goodness, I'm sorry, I almost had to sneeze there. Yeah.
Bless you in advance.
Yes. But shout out to Vinci Games. Yes, I apologize. My mind just went somewhere else. Vinci Games for coming in, and we had them last week coming on the podcast to talk about Blacktop Hoops VR, which, by the way, there will be a video dropping real soon. So super excited about that as well. We had Rex, who is we had him on the show as well, talking about we are seeing another iPhone moment with Apple VR. So really loving that. But we want to make sure we're almost close to that time where we got to say goodbye. But we want to make sure we ask this last important question that we love to ask our guests. So let's take it away, Joy.
Yes, so the show's called Get Them to the Metaverse. How do y'all, and we already know, but how do y'all get people to the Metaverse?
Skeeva, brother.
All right. So I have a very similar passion as you guys. I love the Metaverse. I use it in many different ways to hang out with friends, to make and solidify relationships, and to grow those bonds with friends and people. And I take business meetings in there, do all kinds of things. And the platform I personally prefer is Neos. And I just for me, Neos is like a metaverse platform that's like being lucid in a dream. Like that moment that you realize that you're dreaming and you can do anything at any time. Like anything. At any time. But that is like this ultimate power that you have at your fingertips, where you can like just transform worlds. You can show people things in ways that they've never imagined seeing reality or anything else. I love Neos, and I love the metaverse in general, and I love all the platforms. I'm a fan of Horizon and Rec Room and VR Chat. But for me, it's Neos, and that's where I really like to bring people in and like show them the potential of what the metaverse really is. And no, it's not a crypto scheme. It's not anything that it's not some of the stereotypes that people see it as because of social media, especially people that have never put a headset on, right? And they think the metaverse is this crazy crypto thing. But it's not. It's an amazing place, and I really love to show people the future. So Neos all the way.
Love it.
And I'm a multiplayer gamer. I like to get immersed in a multiplayer experience with my friends, and I like to take it seriously. If I'm in a shooter, I'm like quiet. I'm like listening for footsteps, and I want people who I can trust to have my back. So, I mean, obviously, Metaverse almost implies like social app,
Hmm.
but personally for me, it also includes multiplayer gaming, and
Absolutely.
that's me. So, yeah, you can definitely find me in multiplayer lobbies, and
Listen.
actually less lobbies and more private events because, like I said, I like to do it with people who I like and who I trust.
No, I
Love
love that.
that.
We've got a chance to game with you guys. We got to go to Neo's with Skeeva
Hmm.
and Tribe Grey Wolves, and it was just incredible. Had a lot of fun. Then we had you guys come into Horizon, and we did all kind of stuff. It's so well, I started digging back about some of these memories. Neo's had a whole Horizon world where they even cut your body in half and everything. It was just, it's like come on, man. Did you have to remove the legs? I had just got
Legs
legs,
are hard.
and you took my legs in Neos. But then being able to go and to do VR date nights with Alex and his lovely wife Brittany,
Brittany,
it's
yeah.
just been like, oh man, we've had so much time. And let me say this: Alex is exactly. He is so serious. We're in the middle of Demio, and he's like, he doesn't want to tell us what to do, but then he's like, if I were you,
Yeah.
I would go ahead and pump that armor up, buddy. And it was
I'm
just
trying
like
to get
really
a
fun.
W.
You
I'm
know,
trying to
he's
get a
like
W.
he's like, don't hit that lamp over there. Well, you already hit it. Okay, well, do this instead. But I didn't tell you to do it, by the way. So just having the blast, and
Yeah, we had a great time.
this is what makes VR. There's a reason to, and I'm so glad we at this point in this conversation.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I believe VR is such a powerful tool because it allowed us to meet up with Alex and Brittany and Skeeva and all the different people we've been linking up with across the country, sometimes across the world, and being
Yeah.
able to have this moment of feeling like I'm in the room. We was doing Forever Bowl, and for a moment I really thought we were all together
We
in
were in
there.
that bowling alley
We were in
together.
that bowling
Just
alley together
dance.
dancing to music. It was, what we doing tomorrow, you're getting pizza, I'm getting pizza too, and you forget for a moment, especially with the avatars, you forget for a moment that this is virtual, that you're not actually there. And I just think the technology, as we advance, even what Apple's doing, what Meta's doing, what HTC's doing, it's just about to. I'm just so excited, man, for more and more people to get into the metaverse.
Yes,
So man,
absolutely.
love,
Dude,
love,
you
love.
guys are crushing it. Like, I really appreciate everything
Oh,
that you're doing. Your energy, like Skiva said earlier, is absolutely infectious. The vibes are
oh,
completely on point. You get it. You see the vision, and you're bringing the representation. You're
Yes,
opening the door for others like you who maybe aren't
yeah,
involved. And they're looking for those role models or those community members who they feel like they can connect with.
yes,
To
oh,
me, that's never like different races, creeds, countries, religions, whatever, all that stuff. None of that. It just doesn't matter to me. Like, I just want to connect with everybody who shares my passion, and I
yeah.
want you guys to be successful, and I want you to get everything that you're trying to get out of this, and anything that we can do to help. Of course, we're here in your corner. So, thanks so
dude.
much for having
Oh,
us.
I love that. And
thank
look,
you
we,
guys
we,
so
we gotta
much.
we gotta talk. Brittany came through and showed up and showed some
Oh,
love.
shout out. Hey,
Our
Brittany.
date nights have been the best and gotten me back into VR. So thank you both. Wow, that
Oh,
hits the heartstring. That's something. Believe it or not, that we really truly had a purpose with. We were like, we want to see other couples. We'll do whatever it takes. We are Love Horizon. We'll do whatever it takes to get people to come in there and take a chance on it. And just, oh man, my heart is full tonight. So definitely
yes,
want to,
thank you all so much for your
yes,
kind words. Any
yes.
last words, Skiva?
Oh man, I'm just so excited that you guys had us on. I'm really excited to be here. I love that you are really pulling people in and showing them what's happening and getting people excited for VR and for metaverse platforms and social platforms and gaming, and just the energy you guys bring to the space. Like I said, is just absolutely infectious. And I hope you have a very long career and just
Oh,
presence here in the VR community, because we need more people like Jay Dunn and Joy Rain.
Man,
Amen.
oh.
Listen,
Thank
man.
y'all.
All right, y'all not gonna start the waterworks in here, man. Listen. Well, you know, this is our opportunity to also tell you guys that thank you so much for caring
Thank
about
you.
having conviction as well, for making sure not just the big channels get seen, but also smaller content creators be seen, to see and not just be on one side of that platform, but see it across the spectrum. We need more people
Absolutely.
like Alex and Skeeva as well, because even though you guys been podcasting much longer than us, every single Friday when you guys go live and that little door opens up, you guys are ready, you're amped, you're excited. There's a few
Yes.
times the microphone might not work and we're all like, wait a minute, these guys
No.
are talking, what are you doing? You know, and so, you know, we love it, and that just goes to show the audience is all into it. And
Yes.
like I think Show Freezy Richard said it earlier, this is the most embracing community I've ever been a
Yes.
part of. I've done gospel music, for God's sake, so I have not seen such a community of, I think because we're all a part of this small niche, you know, and it's just something that we want to continue to build. It's something that we talked with Alana last week about, was just
Yes.
how much we got to stick together in this space and continue to build that narrative that VR is for all, and we're all for VR,
Absolutely.
you know? So, Joy, what do you have to say to the people?
I want to say thank you so much for tuning in and hanging with us, y'all. If you really enjoy our guests, if you enjoyed this podcast, make sure you hit the like and subscribe and the thumbs up and everything else. And make sure you guys put some fire emojis for our special guests, Alex and Skeeva. Make sure y'all follow them.
Hey.
Yes. You gotta follow me. And I'm gonna go ahead and say this, man. Listen, these types of shows really just ignite the fire even more for me, because I'm so in love with the VR community, and me and Joy both, just from our hearts, just want to continue to push the narrative of the metaverse forward in any way, shape, or form. And being able to have two of the most iconic podcast leaders on
Yes.
the platform with us today just means a lot, because I grew up in VR watching you guys, and to have you on, it's just incredible. So thank y'all again for that, and thank you again, of course, to the audience that was tuning in the
Yes.
entire time. Once again, Game
Shout
and
out to
Drinks.
y'all.
You know, Brittany again with the hi guys. So yeah, we gotta get our date night. You know, I gotta get another date night in. You know what I'm saying? But now, so thank you again for watching the Get 'Em to the Metaverse podcast, as well as make sure you subscribe to Between Realities. They have their show every Friday at 4 o'clock Central, but around 5 Eastern.
That sounds right.
Yeah, and then 6 Pacific. So, you know, I'm a fan. You know, me and Joy, we logged in
tune
to
in.
check it. We tuning in every Friday to check out that new season. So shout out to you guys again. And once again, thank you for tuning in to Get 'Em into the Metaverse. We will see you next time.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.